The difference between a good and a great half guard player is the understanding of the small battles that go on when somebody's trying to make progress towards the upper body. We're going to look at a few details here at the upper body in half guard, which mean that when your partner tries to approach any kind of attack, if they can't control your head or if they can't solidify the position of the upper body, it's very hard to go in and start passing you. So pay attention, guys, strap in, we're going to look at a bunch of really cool details. When we're playing from half guard, God forbid if anything ever happens like this, where we get put chest to chest, I've lost my knee shield, having precise hand fighting here is going to be the difference between winning and losing a lot of the time. So what I want to think about doing is keeping a cross shoulder post and keeping an inside bicep tie on my partner's arm. Understand this can go wrong, basically for me, in one of three main ways, okay? Assuming he's trying to play for chest to chest. He can either try to get to a cross face and work into a position like so. He could try to get a near side underhook, either by pummeling in like so, or by hiking up my elbow, getting his knee under the shoulder, and dropping in just like this. When we're in this position, the number one thing is to think about actively fighting these three things simultaneously, okay? So quite simply, when he tries to pummel his hand inside for a collar tie, I just want to keep my elbow close to his ribs, okay? If he does start to get in here, I'm just going to look to circle my hand back inside, okay? If he starts to pummel a near side underhook going over the shoulder, now from here, if I can, I'll block this out and try to make it challenging. If he starts to get in here, my first point of call is always to circle my elbow back to the inside, okay? If he pulls up on my shoulder and gets his knee in close, like this, now it can be really challenging to stop this near side underhook here, okay? So ultimately, if I can keep my elbow jammed in here, I can make it more difficult, but understand that this is a very risky position. If this ever happens again, I want to try and pummel my elbow back to the inside. When it comes to this position, if I have a choice between getting cross-faced and near side underhooked, I will almost always elect to take the cross-face if I can, okay? It's very, very hard to defend a near side underhook, okay? If he gets the near side underhook, what I have to do is when he starts to go across my body like this, I have to focus on keeping this frame, and even if it means that the rest of my position falls apart, I basically have to turn to my side, cut my elbow inside, and then get back to this frame to give myself any chance of recovering, otherwise I'm gonna get cooked. So we're gonna focus more on the cross-face underhook problems in a later video. Today we're gonna focus a little bit when he starts to go over back. So short of dealing with this problem here, I wanted to give you guys those preliminaries, but short of having this problem, the other main way that this can go wrong is he can reach over my head and try to get his elbow down to the floor. And there's a lot of variables here depending on where I'm at in my position, okay? A very common way this can come up is when I'm playing here and I start to go for my underhook and he can reach over my head either to go to guillotine or similar like this. When we're in this position, what I want to think about doing is working my right hand to the inside, pulling my knees to my chest and getting to a single leg. So we're here, I get this, he throws over, and I pull myself in close, where now I have good ability to low ankle shift, work up towards my man's hips, and get up towards our partner's back. When somebody's trying to pass my half guard, they have a couple of good choices when they reach over back, okay? We looked at reactively attacking somebody underhooking us and how to deal with this, okay? Ultimately, we're gonna lock our hands, things are pretty good, okay? But a lot of the time, if Joey's down, you can get into a situation where even at this kind of range here, you'll find there's kind of a couple of main situations. One, where I reach over his head like so, and I kind of gather him up in this kind of position here where I'm over his head, but he either has this frame in or it's in play somewhere with this arm, or the other main situation is I take my elbow down to the floor and I kind of hip switch into this reverse tight waist position here. Ultimately, we need to have good answers for either of these situations. Let's have a quick look. So it's easier said than done, but when Joey reaches over my head here, okay, there's a few things I want to play for, okay? What I want to think about doing is making him post his hand out in this direction. From here, I'm going to cup the front of my partner's knee, okay? And I want to keep my frame inside his chest, and as best as possible, I want to look to extend, cup his knee, and kind of hit like, it seems goofy, but like a scissor sweep type action to bump him out in this direction, okay? It's not always going to be that clean where you can make him post out and away every time, but at a minimum, I can start to get him offset a little bit and then work into this lat structure. So we're here, he reaches over, bump, he's staying close on me, keep close, keep close. Good, from here, I'm gonna pump, 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 get my frames back inside, work back to distance, and retain my position. So it's not that sexy, but it's very, very important that you understand what your goal is when you play this position, otherwise it's gonna get murked. The other main situation we're going to find ourselves in is when he takes his elbow across my body and into this reverse tight waist position here, okay? Now there's a lot of ways this can go wrong, okay? And me having my elbows up here is very, very risky, okay? So first, conservative option, okay? What I want to think about doing is bringing my elbows as best I can inside his armpit and inside his hip. So the way to do that is to shoulder walk and cut my elbows back inside his armpit and hip here. From here now, I stay on my side, I think about touching my right knee and elbow together. So I frame his hip, I'm just going to kip until my knee comes outside. I can square myself back up. He'll score up a lot of the time to avoid back exposure, and you'll be free and clear, ready to keep on your attack. So that was our conservative option, okay? We can also get a bit risque, a bit sneaky, okay? And we can play into some different octopus style attacks, okay? So the first one, which is I think quite valuable, is the idea of working into a Kosoto hook here. If I can ever dig this heel in and start to capture my partner's leg here with my left leg, now in this position it's quite strong to build up to my elbow, and look to build for hip height, and actually walk our man straight over. If I ever see this hand post, I trap this in, chest it behind, and immediately come behind our partner for our back take. A good thing to add to this is when I'm digging this in, I manage to get to my Kosoto hook. If I can ever come forward and capture this foot here, I can also now load him in all sorts of different directions and move him around here. This is one of the most effective tools when you play Octopus in the game, because now, even if he tries to reach back to my head to try and cross-face me, I can tip him, put him out of position. It feels really dumb. Even if he gets my head here, I can pull this in and turn him over for my reversal. Another way to play this posture, where you don't necessarily have to use the Kosoto hook, particularly when his knee's up towards the sky like it is currently, I'll oftentimes play towards more of a butterfly guard style position. Okay, so a few tidbits here. You want to think about grabbing the lat muscle and pinching your elbow into the upper back. What this does now is it makes it very difficult for Joey to reach back and cross-face me. Okay, so if he tries to get these kind of ideas to grab my head, you can see it's very, very challenging. Okay, what I want to think about doing is working my left foot in as a butterfly hook. So what I want to think about doing is looking to try to create a situation where I step on the back of his knee pit, okay, and step on the back of the Achilles. Now here I pummel my butterfly hook in, and we're good to go to work from here. Okay. Now, there are a few ways to play this, okay? Broadly speaking, I can either try to do like a sumigashi style movement, like a butterfly sweep, where I put my right foot on the floor and lift and threaten to come up on my shoulder, okay? The other way to off-balance him here is to get like a power prop up to my elbow and lift my hips, kind of similar to the Kosoto hook, but with a butterfly hook instead. And the basic thread of this is that obviously I try to knock my partner over, okay? However, a lot of the time what will end up happening is as I threaten to sweep him in either which way, he'll push back into me, and as he pushes back in, my goal is to guide his knee through my leg. So he'll be trying to keep this here. I'm going to look to float him, and guide this back underneath my butt. Now from here I can extend my butterfly hook, climb right into my back take. So you have a nice little dilemma here, whereby I'll play sweep threats against back take threats, and the basic premise is that when he pushes into me, to deny my ability to sweep him over, I float his hips through, get a nice clean back take. So dig, step. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I know, not as sexy of a technique set from today, but super important to level up your understanding of your half guard defense. Hope you guys liked. Make sure to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what I should do next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.